One of the questions I get asked quite frequently is regarding the oil filters on these Fiat 500. So today's little tech tip is how to, first of all, find and then clean your oil filter. These don't have a traditional oil filter, they have a slinger system that we'll look at in more detail. But fundamentally what we're going to be looking at is the crank pulley here and the 6 bolts that surround it. Now you can do all of this in situ, but I have a spare engine on the bench, so we're going to have a little look at this up on the bench and actually how you clean out your oil filter. So on our bench engine, you can see at the end of the crank pulley you've got 6 10mm bolts which hold a cover on. Now I've removed most of these already just to make this a little bit faster, so that what I can do is I can then lever off the cover that goes over the top. And this is your oil filter. It's a slinger system, so in here oil gets slung up against this face as the crank spins, and this plate effectively just slings all of the sludge and rubbish out into here, and that is where it remains. So to clean it, all you do is just scrape it all out like that. There you go. And likewise scrape it all out of inside here. I'm not going to do this properly on camera because I've only got one hand, but once you've cleaned all of that back out, you can then replace the O-ring that sits inside here and reinstall the filter housing. And that is how it's done. It's a very basic system. It's probably not as good as having a separate mesh filter or indeed any other sort of full flow oil filtering system, but it does function. People don't bother cleaning it because, as you can see from the car, it is a little bit difficult to get to in the car, but not really that hard. So every time you change your oil, or indeed in between oil changes, whip that cover plate off your crank pulley and have a little look at getting all of the crud out of your oil.